with all this information, you can help guide your kids. So, and on the side of the kids getting a job, I think if it's in the same order, like if the parents are planning everything with the kids, because when kids start earning money, they start losing interest because they're gonna go to school and all they're gonna go to school and to get money. At the end of the game, money is what they're gonna get. So you introduce kids into money early part of life, usually they wouldn't go far in their academics in the school world, but some people end up doing well in the business world. They have
But I mean, rich people, their children have access to a lot of money, a lot of wealth. They display. Some of these kids drive in high school. They're used to it. They drive in very fancy cars. But at the end of the day, they still go very far in academics. They go to all the big schools, and they, if it's a Donald Trump children, because your father Donald Trump, I'm sure they had, access to a lot of money and wealth, growing up. But that doesn't stop them from pursuing education and going in there.
Family background plays a lot of roles in people's life.
Okay.
Those kids are exposed to affluent life is different from mostly African immigrant home, because the mom is looking for overtime, the dad is looking for overtime, and it's serious, bro. The mom is looking for overtime, the dad is looking for overtime, and then it's not always there's a need. The kids, when they are that age, they see the new Jordans that's out. They don't want to be wearing the Goodwill shoes. The parents will be buying for them, and the parents don't do that on purpose. It's affordable. It's within their means.
Right.
So these kids, seeing that now they are grown up, they don't want to be looking like that. They want to wear what is fashionable now. So if they could get a job to help themselves, the only problem is they get distracted in the course of getting these resources for themselves. So I would say if parents could plan with their kids and still guide them, maybe you be there and ask them, how was your job? Be in the kid's life. But I think if the African parent or the immigrant, if it's too much, the kids can get job. If it's legal, I think they should let them do, because it's not fair. You are not able to produce what they need, because no African parent is gonna buy you a shoe of $100 to you, the kid, buy you a shoe of $200 Jordans. It doesn't make sense, because the bills has to be paid.
Right.
And you are not the only kid in the family. So resource has to be allocated where it's most needed. So if this case is...
So you're saying that if the parent cannot afford to buy the new Jordans and the new purse for the child, they should allow the child to go get a job at a very young age. That's what you're saying?
16, if it's legal for them to have some job, I think as a parent, you have to guide them. That's your main duty.
But at the same time, you were talking about not doing things that you're talking about Indian immigrants. I was reading some article, and somebody talked about it's not very common that you see, teenage children of Indian immigrants and Chinese immigrants engaging in some of these jobs. They're always in the universities, in the campuses, pursuing, engineering. They might have a work-study job at the campus or something, like working a couple hours a week as part of their program. But a lot of times it's not very common. So if we're talking about adopting this kind of strategies, right, as African immigrant blueprint, how do you now come back here and talk about, allowing the kids to go get a job? Meanwhile, at the same time, you said it causes them to lose interest in academics.
So India has a lot of high middle income people and billionaires than Africa as a continent as a whole. And then coming from that background, the scarcity of the resources, that's why that's not the ideal situation. But if you are able to guide them and plan with them, sit with them, if you guide your kids, well, they're going to listen to you.
Okay.
But I have to start from the basics. You're not going to not be in their life, and when they are 16, you want to be there and tell them, don't get that job, whilst you're not buying the shoes for them. Shoes, as we're talking about them.
You keep mentioning shoes and shoes and shoes.
It's a necessity, because I'm using shoes, the basic things that goes on in the kids' life, and it's very practical. The kids in America will tell you, those that grew up here, they will tell you when they used to go to school, the African kids that grew up here, most of them will tell you they used to laugh at them.
I don't think the Indian immigrants worry about the Jordans.
So Because the background they're coming from,
Yeah.
they have the resources.
What resources? Some of this they come from very
Mostly when we
poor
go-
backgrounds.
It's true, but mostly the Indians we see in America and the Asian people that we meet, we go to hospital, they are doctors, they are there. So I'm imagining
They're
two
coming
doc-
from very good homes, rich backgrounds. Is that what you're saying?
So when we go to hospital, we go to places and stuff. The Indians, the Asians that we see there, they occupy higher position than the African immigrants.
Right, but because they
So
worked
if-
hard, you know.
Yeah,
I
so
think
if
that's
you-
what I think. Because
So
some
if
of
these are
these,
the parents-
some of these Indians, their accent, you know,
Yeah,
it's really thick. You
Yeah.
know, it's really hard to even
Yeah.
understand what they're saying. But they're up there,
Yeah.
because they've got the qualifications and the degrees to be there, and they can perform. You know, so
And they are the parents of the kid with the African immigrants' kid. So that becomes the problem. The two people that already worked, and it's not even fair to make that comparison because they're coming from background with the generational wealth, while the African immigrants are coming from a zero background. There's nothing.
Okay.
They are here to struggle to make it. Now, your parents are the ones thinking of generational wealth. If you are lucky to have parents that even understand generational wealth, you are very blessed.